To many of us, it feels like Red Dead Online has been all but abandoned by Rockstar, aka Take-Two Games, in favor of focus on the Defective Edition, milked editions of GTA, as well as the next GTA game. However, there was some work being done on the QA beta on Steam, according to a few others on social. I think it was a week or a few weeks ago. Time flies. I don't know if they're still working on it, but it led some people to have a small, teeny tiny spark of hope that maybe Rockstar has begun working on new content for Red Dead Online. Finally, is that true? I guess we'll find out in the future one way or the other. But the question I want to ask today is Red Dead Online capable of being resurrected by Rockstar at this point? Can Rockstar hashtag save Red Dead Online? Do you think that there's still a hope, a chance, a dream that more content might be coming to Red Dead Online? Or do you think that the damage is done and it's too late? Feel free and let me know in the comment section. So before we talk about the possibility of Red Dead Online being resurrected, we have to address the problem, aka the elephant in the room. The last roll and legit update that we got in Red Dead Online was summer 2020 with a Naturalist update. The Blood Money summer 2021 update was barely an update at all. It just added new stranger missions and the Quick Draw Club, which was basically Outlaw Pass 6 chopped up into 4 mini passes. We did get some new survivals, the Call to Arms survivals, and Capitelli. Yeah, that was pretty much it, except for Halloween Pass 2 around late October in 2021. Since then, there's been no new content or updates, including quality of life for Red Dead Online. So we haven't even had a title update or patches fixing all the known problems in Red Dead Online since the summer of 2021. Weekly events became monthly events starting around November. So from November, December 2021, January, February, March, now April 2022, all we've gotten are monthly events in Red Dead Online, whereas in GT Online, they still get weekly events. No word from Rockstar despite the hashtag Save Red Dead Online campaign as to whether or not there's any future plans to add new content, updates, roles, passes, properties, etc. The silence from Rockstar and Take-Two Games has done damage to the Rockstar brand in the eyes of Red Dead fans, and less people are playing Red Dead Online than ever. Why the silence? New players buy Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online standalone all the time, including gold bar sales. So if Rockstar was to come out and say to the community that we are officially done updating and live servicing Red Dead Online, that would mean that there would be no more standalone sales for Red Dead Online and most likely no more gold bar sales. Even if those gold bar sales and Red Dead Online standalone sales are not exactly up to the level of GTA Online standalone sales or Shark Card sales, it's still money in Take-Two Games' pocket that they're not really having to do anything for. And by keeping their mouth shut and not saying anything one way or the other about whether or not there's going to be a future for Red Dead Online, or are they just sunsetting it quietly off into the sunset? There's still that hope, right? And there's a lot of players out there that are oblivious to this situation, that are under the impression that, hey, I'm going to jump into Red Dead Online. There's this content. There's these gold bars. Eventually, there'll probably be more content, more roles, etc. coming down the road with no idea as to whether or not Rockstar is going to actually put out new roles, new content, properties, passes. In other words, just like with GTA, Rockstar and Take-Two are milking Red Dead Online for as much as they can get out of it with as very little effort as possible. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk about damage control, beginning the process of resurrecting Red Dead Online. What does Rockstar need to do? By the way, I have no idea if Rockstar will actually watch my video. They probably don't. If they do, well, I hope they take my advice. That's why we put out these videos, Rockstar and Take-Two. It's not because we hate you. We just want you to do better. First off, what you need to do is something that you have difficulty with in social medias. Communicate with the Red Dead players. Address hashtag Save Red Dead Online. Acknowledge the lack of content. If you have to, just come out and say, look, we had to focus on the milked edition of GTA 5 and Online and the defective edition of the GTA trilogy. Those obviously didn't go so well, so we had to reallocate teams to those, as well as the next-gen GTA game we're working on. Just be honest with us. Be straightforward. Tell us the freaking truth for once. The next thing you need to do is this thing we call a roadmap. Other studios do this. And give us an idea of what we can expect. A timetable, a window as to when the next update is coming. A summer update. Is it going to be early summer? Is it going to be late summer? Are we going to get a December update this year? Unlike last year, please let us know. We also would like an idea about how many roles we're going to get. A new role or 2 new roles or 3 new roles similar to Frontier Pursuits. The new content we can expect, as well as quality of life patches and fixes and updates to the game, changes, improvements, perhaps future outlaw passes or whatever you wish to call it. I call them the Redemption Pass. I had that idea a while back to rebrand the passes to Redemption Pass. Maybe you can take that and run with it since the Outlaw Passes kind of fell through and the Quick Draw Clubs didn't go so well. So you may want to rebrand the passes as well and make them way better than the past few Outlaw Passes, including Quick Draw Club. So improvements, a timetable, when the 2022 update will be arriving for Red Dead Online. Something to do with a roadmap would be nice. Once again, I'm not expecting you to tell us every single thing you have planned, but give us an idea, give us a taste, give us a tease, give us something, Rockstar, to lift up some hope that is remaining in the Red Dead Online player base. The next thing you need to do is deliver on what you promised. Go above and beyond with the next update. I'd say go above and beyond with the next several updates, up at the same level with Frontier Pursuits, perhaps even better than Frontier Pursuits. That's what a lot of Red Dead Online fans are expecting at this point. The Red Dead Online community has come up with a ton of different ideas and presented them to you via the social medias for you to take advantage of. Look at the ideas, see which ones you like, which ones you don't like, and use them in order to make awesome content and updates for this game. We want new exciting roles, finish the Land of Opportunity story mission with Horley and Jessica, properties, things to spend cash and gold on, since a lot of us have tons of cash and gold, but we're still hanging out at the camp with Crips. More stable stalls, since we've only had a 10 stable stall max since the beta over 3 years ago. It would also be nice, Rockstar, if you would finally give us some sort of monetary compensation for discarding our horses, since we can't sell them. At least give us a coupon for 30% off towards our next horse purchase. Additional saddle slots would be awesome. New horse breeds, new clothing, weapons, fixes, improvements, passes, outlaw-themed content. Perhaps somewhere down the road, Mexico Nuevo Paraíso expansion would be nice as well. But there's still plenty of content that could come way before a Mexico expansion that you could add to Red Dead Online right here and now. In other words, I'm not expecting a Mexico expansion in 2022. I think that's a pipe dream if it ever even happens at all. It's unfortunate that you ride, on the edge of the San Luis and you look over at Nuevo Paraíso and you realize that towns that should be across the river do not appear except for El Presidio, which is just a skeleton. But at the very least, Rockstar, if you are going to resurrect Red Dead Online, you need to make an announcement in the future. I would say probably by the May 2022 monthly event. I was hoping for something in the April 2022 monthly event, but silence once again. Which leads to the next question. Even if Rockstar was to do all these things, is the damage already done when it comes to Red Dead Online? So let's look at the Steam charts for Red Dead Online. At the recording of this video, the amount of players playing at this hour, well, an hour ago, was 2,042. And you can see the chart, you can see the numbers fluctuate. Not exactly good for an online live service game when it comes to these numbers for Red Dead Online. So let's also compare it with Battlefield 2042, which hasn't been doing very well either. Bear in mind, Red Dead Online is an online version of Red Dead Redemption 2, which came out over 3 years ago. Battlefield 2042 came out less than a year ago, and it's exclusively multiplayer. There's no story mode version of Battlefield 2042. So the numbers for Battlefield 2042 as of right now are about the same as Red Dead Online. 2,056 players an hour ago. So yeah, I mean, they're very similar between Battlefield 2042 and Red Dead Online, which I think is actually good for Red Dead Online because Red Dead Online is, once again, over 3 years old. So there's obviously people still playing Red Dead Online 3 years later. If we were to jump ahead 3 years in the future for Battlefield 2042, if EA DICE was not to come out with future fixes, improvements, and updates for Battlefield 2042, I feel like 3 years from now, 2042 would be a lot lower in the player count than it currently is. Both are overshadowed by GTA 5, basically GTA Online, which currently has 122,000 players over an hour ago. All of this according to SteamCharts.com. So yes, the situation regarding Red Dead Online is dire. Rockstar is silent about whether or not there's going to be any future content or updates, despite the fact that we had a trending movement a few months ago with hashtag Save Red Dead Online. It doesn't necessarily mean that Rockstar is done with Red Dead Online, because we can look at other online games that started off pretty bad, but are still kicking right now and doing quite well. No Man's Sky, Sea of Thieves, Fallout 76. And Fallout 76, by the way, came out around the same time as Red Dead Online. And I honestly thought that between the two games, Red Dead Online would end up doing better at this point than Fallout 76. However, if you look at the current player count for Fallout 76, once again, according to SteamCharts.com, 5,300 players right now. So at least twice as many people are playing Fallout 76 than Red Dead Online. Sea of Thieves, meanwhile, is selling into the high seas with nearly 28,000 people playing right now. So yeah, Sea of Thieves is doing quite well by comparison to Fallout 76, Battlefield 2042, and Red Dead Online. However, one of the big differences here is Red Dead Online is not being updated, whereas Sea of Thieves, credit to Rare, has been updated. I remember when I first played Sea of Thieves, I even did a rant video about it, talking about its potential and how it needed way more content. And unlike Rockstar, Rare has actually added content and improved Sea of Thieves, and has made Sea of Thieves way better than it was at launch. That's why Sea of Thieves has a much larger player base right now than Red Dead Online. And even Fallout 76 has been getting updates and content and doing at least twice as good as Red Dead Online at the moment. However, if Rockstar was to come out and save Red Dead Online and resurrect it and get it new content, new roles, new properties, passes, quality of life fixes, I feel like those numbers for Red Dead Online would go back up. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, why would Rockstar resurrect Red Dead Online, especially since, as we've pointed out, they haven't really bothered to do so since summer 2021. For one thing, Take-Two Games is not as focused on the Milked Edition, aka GTA 5 Online, as they were leading up to the launch for PS5, Xbox Series. Obviously, they still have a team that's probably working on GTA Plus and future content revolved around GTA Online, but they can reallocate sources and people back towards Red Dead Online if they so desire. And they are also mostly done with the Defective Edition, aka the GTA Trilogy, even though it has yet to come out for smartphones. So I feel like once it comes out for smartphones sometime in the spring, then there may be one more title update for the Defective Edition, and then they'll be officially over and done with that going forward. There's also the possibility that, similar to the Milked Edition for GTA 5 and Online, that Rockstar has a version planned for Red Dead Redemption, as well as a standalone version for Red Dead Online, exclusively for PS5, Xbox Series, with performance improvements similar to GTA 5 and Online, like performance RT, 60 FPS, with probably not much else going for it, but it would mean more sales, right? More copies of Red Dead Redemption 2 and standalone Red Dead Online being sold exclusively for the PS5, Xbox Series, despite the fact that, very similar to GTA 5 for Xbox One, PS4, the PS4, Xbox One version of Red Dead Redemption 2 is also backwards compatible for PS5 and Xbox Series. Plus, the next GTA game is still a long ways off from being ready, and Take-Two Games still needs to make more money. That's right, a lot of this really comes down to money, pure and simple. Yeah, they're making tons of money off of GTA 5 and Online and Shark Cards, but Take-Two Games is very greedy, and they want to make as much money as possible. And if they see opportunity to make some profit off of Red Dead with PS5, Xbox Series copies of Red Dead Redemption 2 and standalone version of Red Dead Online, as well as a boost in gold bar sales, then they're definitely going to try. Especially since the next GTA game is probably going to cost them a lot of money to make, and who knows how far into production that is. It could be announced by the fall or next year, which means another 2 years till it officially comes out. So at this point, we may not see GTA 6 or the next GTA game till 2024, 2025, somewhere in that ballpark. In other words, Rockstar and Take-Two need to come up with ways to make money, whether it's through trying to milk GTA 5 and online as much as they can, or their other popular game, which came out back in 2018, Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as Red Dead Online. Since Take-Two Games has stopped making story DLCs for GTA and Red Dead, they have to focus on the online versions, which is Red Dead Online. And the reality is, Rockstar, being secretive, doesn't exactly tell us anything, and there's a very real possibility that they were already working on previous content updates prior to Red Dead Online being put out on hiatus. We do know that there were some codes found regarding the properties for Red Dead Online, so that's been worked on for well over a year. We knew about that, I think, going back into September 2020, or prior to that, there was already plans to add property to Red Dead Online. In other words, it's very possible that properties are all but done. They just have to put the finishing touches on that, as well as whatever other role they had planned. It's also quite possible that the Land of Opportunity story is already concluded, and maybe they've been waiting for the CGI department to finish with the cutscenes, or they just have it on the shelf waiting to be put out eventually. Plus, they could always add additional mini games such as blackjack, dominoes, five-finger fillet, etc., along with other content from Red Dead Redemption 2 if they simply want to just copy pasta over elements from Red Dead Redemption 2 story into Red Dead Online. I did do a video about that a few months ago. In conclusion, Red Dead Online could be resurrected if Take-Two Games believes that there's money to be made, and if there's plans for PS5, Xbox Series versions of Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as Red Dead Online, as well as the potential for more gold bar sales. Obviously not to the level of GTA 5 Online and Shark Cards, but as long as there's money to be made, Take-Two Games is willing to shell out a little bit of money and effort in the hopes of making profit. Will Red Dead Online ever reach the levels of GTA Online? The answer to that question is no. Most of us are under no illusion about that. Red Dead Online is its own unique thing, but it can be successful in its own right if Take-Two Games put forth the effort to actually communicate with the Red Dead Online fan base, try to, patch things up and make things right, and give us a roadmap as well as content and quality of life fixes. However, there is still a very real possibility that Rockstar is done with Red Dead Online and they're just going to focus all their efforts on GTA, whether it's the next GTA, title updates for the Defective Edition, content for the Milked Edition, as well as GTA Plus. If that's the case, then the monthly events will continue with no word or information regarding future plans for content for Red Dead Online until they get extended to, let's just say, a 2-3 month event going on for like twice or 3 times as long. And once it gets to the point that there's hardly any more Red Dead Online standalone sales or gold bar sales, then Take-Two Games will stop doing monthly events altogether for Red Dead Online. At this point, that seems like the direction that Take-Two Games is going when it comes to Red Dead Online. However, there's always that small, teeny tiny glimmer of hope that Red Dead Online might be resurrected. And now I want to know what you think. Do you think that Red Dead Online is being sunsetted? Do you think the live service is over and done with? Or will Rockstar resurrect Red Dead Online? Your thoughts, your views, and opinions, as always, welcome below in the comments section.